This is an absolute heist for the Rockets, as new reports have Houston using their number 10 overall pick in this year's draft to go after NBA superstar Kevin Durant and create the league's new super team right here in H-Town. Welcome into Rockets Digest. I'm Jace Andrews, and I appreciate you joining us. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button. We are growing like crazy, and we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the week, or around 650 subscribers. So if you have not already, hit that subscribe button. Here is the report coming off the interwebs, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Evan Siddery saying, keep a close eye on the Rockets potentially trading the number 10 overall pick. Already armed with a deep young core, using the pick for a player like Kevin Durant seems like a home run scenario. Suns GM Brian Gregory already mentioned their emphasis on moving forward is player development. Now, this is a stifling report for many different reasons because the NBA is such a fluid league. One thing can be true one day, and the next day, a completely different thing could also be true. And that's just how the NBA, especially this time of year, works. Trade rumors are flying. There's details coming out. There's reports saying that this team is going to go after this guy, but now they're going to go after this guy. And literally just yesterday, it seemed like the track for Houston was either keep this team together or go after Giannis. They weren't really worried about too much. But just this morning, as per usual, the NBA has switched up again, and Kevin Durant's trade has now not been ruled out for the Rockets amid rumors of a timeline concern. And if you're a little confused about what that exactly meant, why the Rockets were a little bit more on the Giannis side than the KD side, it's simply put, Kevin Durant is older. He's 37 years old, or about to be 37 by the start of the next season. His points are still there. He had the Achilles tear, and we know that is a very much a hindering thing to his career. It really took him off the court for some time, but he's still a very good player and honestly would do numbers for this Rockets team, similarly to Giannis. And we've talked so much about Giannis on this channel, and we talk about all these trades, and Rafael has talked about continuality with this team. And Giannis, although does fit that in some aspects of being a young core, the continuality gets thrown out the window with some of the trades we're seeing. We're seeing Amen Thompson get traded. We're seeing all three of Amen Thompson, Alperen Şengün, and Jalen Green being traded. And that's just not a realistic possibility in my mind that the Rockets would trade away all three of those guys. Maybe one, but I don't think even two is more than what I would expect from Rafael, Ime Udoka, and what the Rockets have continued to set. But now things are shifting with the Phoenix Suns, and getting Kevin Durant would be a huge thing for the Houston Rockets, as we read in today's report from Athlon Sports saying, quote, Durant would become the legitimate number one scorer for the Rockets, desperately needing it in this year's playoffs. He averaged 26.6 points per game this season, shooting 52.7% from the floor and 43% from three-point range. In addition, he also chipped in 6 rebounds, 4.2 assists, and 1.2 blocks per game. End quote. He is a bona fide superstar. Yes, he's 37 years old. Yes, he's had injury history. But you cannot deny the stats, and you cannot deny that if you put him on this Rockets roster with the players and the team they have, he is going to be a flourishment for the young guys and for Kevin Durant. And that's where we kind of have to sit here and talk. Okay, why is this such a big steal? I'm going to first show you a report of a previous trade mentioned by Bleacher Report before I give you my take on why this trade wouldn't work and a trade that would be amazing. Here we go with the trade. BR possible trade, Bleacher Report for the Rockets would include Jalen Green, Cam Whitmore, now the number 10 overall pick, and a 2027 first-round pick via Phoenix. And the Rockets, of course, would get Kevin Durant. So keep in mind, this is the trade. Jalen Green, obviously, in my mind, a top 10 player, top 20 player in the NBA. Cam Whitmore, a guy who has been labeled as a potential upcoming prospect for the Houston Rockets. You're now labeled number 10 overall pick that came from Phoenix, by the way, and a 2027 first-round pick that is also in technically Phoenix's possession. You traded for it, obviously. That trade is fine. I don't really want to get rid of Cam Whitmore. If you've seen these videos, if you watched, If we're going to trade some young guys, I would rather it be Reed Sheppard than Cam Whitmore. I think Reed has a harder path to the Rockets starting / even bench area than Cam does. I think Cam could easily be a bench guy next year, if not even get into the starting rotation at some point, depending on trades. Jalen Green is where the trade kind of goes awry for me. I don't know if I'm ready to give up, I think is what that's saying. It's giving up on Jalen Green, which people talked about Jalen Green so much this season as if he was going to be the next great player. And then he has one bad playoff series, and granted, it was bad. It was not good. And everybody's immediately dogging on him. I mean, he's 23 years old. Like, give him some time. And that's why I don't know if the trade is worth it. Now, there are plenty of assets for the Houston Rockets that they could easily go out and trade. You have the number 10 pick. They've got Jalen Green, Amen Thompson, Tari Eason, Jabari Smith Jr., Reed Sheppard, Cam Whitmore. They got a bunch of young talents and a bunch of picks. However, there's just some things that you have to look at and try and keep in your mind when you're talking about the Rockets and what their destination is for the next upcoming season. Rafael Stone wanted continuality. He wants the core of this team together. That means Jalen Green. That means Amen Thompson. That means Alperen Şengün. It doesn't mean Reed Sheppard. It doesn't mean Cam Whitmore. It doesn't mean Jabari Smith Jr. And it doesn't mean Tari Eason. I think the continuality he is talking about is the big three, in my opinion, and I think in most of the Rockets fans' opinions. Amen Thompson, Alperen Şengün, Jalen Green. Those three stay. Everybody else, you're on the table. So what does a trade look like that could easily get Kevin Durant to Houston with those three still here? Well, that's where you have to throw in Reed Sheppard, Cam Whitmore, and potentially Jabari Smith Jr. with picks. Because you're not going to be able to just get out of here and know that the Rockets have these young players and Phoenix knows they have their picks. It's going to be hard to not give them, a big haul, which would be 3 players, couple of picks. The thing that Houston does have is they do have the picks from Phoenix. Those picks that Phoenix wants back, you are in possession of. Therefore, you hold the cards in a lot of ways. And so, if you're going into a rebuild mode for Phoenix, you're going to want your picks because you know the next couple seasons aren't going to be great. And if you don't have your picks, it's going to be worth nothing. So their options are to make the Rockets work out a trade, and the Rockets could hold all the cards in that piece, or go somewhere else to a team that will give them picks that are also going to be good over the next couple of years from a team who is going to be struggling, which there are very few of. The Rockets have power. The Suns have power in this potential. The thing is, and you might see me pop it up there, there's only a couple other teams that have been connected to Kevin Durant. Miami Heat and Minnesota were suggested options. That, as an NBA insider, is the 3 teams. Miami Heat, Minnesota, and Houston. There is no way on planet Earth or space that Miami or Minnesota is putting together a better trade package than what the Houston Rockets have, even if they're just giving you Reed Sheppard, Cam Whitmore, Jabari Smith, and the 10th overall pick and a pick later on. And the thing that people kind of forget about this, the Rockets went into a rebuild, right? We all know this. We are witnessing other teams doing what we have successfully done. We were the number 2 team in the Western Conference. Yes, we lost in the first round, but we did what we were supposed to do. Now you look into the future and you're seeing these other teams come clamoring to try and be like you and fix their team in the next couple years. The Rockets have made all the right moves. Now it's up to the front office to make more right moves. That's how the NBA goes. And so, if you go to Phoenix and say, hey, we're not going to give you Jalen Green, but we'll give you Jabari Smith or Tari Eason, and you can pick Reed Sheppard, Cam Whitmore, plus the pick back this year and your 2027 first round pick, and say, this is a deal. We are leaving it out here for you, and we're not going to give you anything else. We're not going to bargain with you. We're not going to give anything with this. I think eventually the Rockets would break down the Suns and Kevin Durant would become a Houston Rocket with Jalen Green, Amen Thompson, and Alperen Şengün. I don't see the Miami Heat getting a better trade package for the Timberwolves. They don't have the pick necessities. They don't have the draft assets. They don't have the young players. Like Jaime Jaquez Jr. is not going to push the needle. Tari Eason, who has just proven he is a good player. Jabari Smith Jr., who has just proven he can play in any defense, any formation, is a good player. You have that over pretty much anybody the other teams has. In my opinion, if you can make that work, that is a trade well worth taking. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you think the Rockets should go after Kevin Durant? And if so, what would a trade look like for you? As always, hit that subscribe button. We'll have more and more videos being pumped out here on Rockets Digest. We appreciate the support. And for now, we'll see you next time here on Rockets Digest. Peace out.